We were talking earlier about this Apple in China book that came out, where I think it's rewriting the narrative of what Apple did. So it wasn't like Apple went to China and they said, oh, these guys know how to manufacture. We're going to give them, like they're going to help us manufacture and achieve our goals. Apple trained all of the people in China to do manufacturing. It was something like 28 million over the course of the last, 10 years that they've been there, that they've trained, which is the workforce of California. The interesting stat that this writer notes is that Apple invested, I think, something like 58 billion per year into China so that they could invest in these manufacturing hubs and invest in these factories. And when you compare it to the Marshall Plan, it's something like 2x the entire Marshall Plan that Apple has invested in China over the last 10 years. And the thing that is shocking about sort of this, like, divorcing the manufacturing and moving manufacturing out of America into a country is, like, it wasn't like they had the people and the systems and the know-how where they were helping us. It was like we made an active choice, or I should say Apple made an active choice to train those people and to give them the knowledge, to give them the know-how of this is how you are going to build. And, until this book came out, I don't think people really recognized just how much capital that American companies were putting into China to train them on things we know how to do. When we talk about, like, what keeps me up at night, like, it is really, really hard to build factories that compete with the manufacturing and production capabilities of China. This started 10, 15 years ago with Apple, but there's many good examples of, companies that were invested in by American venture capital firms in China, that, are way ahead in terms of production. I always say, like, the biggest scandal, Apple is a good example of us taking our knowledge and our know-how into China and teaching them something that was an American secret in many cases. But the biggest scandal of Silicon Valley is that Silicon Valley did that too. In 2008, 2009, venture capital firms that are very large and very successful went into China and they taught them how to do early stage investing. They went in there and they trained people, and they trained them as though they were training their own associates in Silicon Valley. And they told them how you build these companies. And so I always say that the sort of venture capital ecosystem, it is American dynamism. It is the thing that allows America to be dominant in the global economy. It's how we build tech companies. But VCs went over there and shared information, shared limited partners, shared all of the aspects and the functions of how you build an incredible legacy-defining venture firm. And over 20 years, China has a true ecosystem of tech companies now. And they all work with the CCP, right? Like, they figured out how to build in the kind of confines of how China expects them to build. But, like, this is scandalous. Like, I think Apple in China is scandalous that we invested that much money into another country's manufacturing regime and not into our own.